Welcome viewers, I am Pia and you're watching NewsX World. We're tracking some very tragic news coming in from Afghanistan. At this point, a powerful 6.0 magnitude earthquake has struck Afghanistan, leaving at least 622 people dead and more than 1,500 injured. Now, according to authorities, the earthquake struck eastern Afghanistan near the border with Pakistan. The quake hit just before midnight yesterday, about 27 kilometers northeast of Jalalabad in the Nangarhar province. The earthquake has also affected the Kunar and Lagmar provinces. Tremors were felt in Afghanistan's capital Kabul, which is located about 140 kilometers away as well. Remember, Afghanistan is prone to deadly earthquakes as it lies at the Hindu Kush mountain range where the Indo-Eurasian tectonic plates meet. Authorities are warning that the death toll could rise. You can clearly see the devastation in the visuals on your screens. Houses have utterly been destroyed. People are searching through the rubble, trying to find their loved ones. You can completely see the sort of devastation that has occurred. Rescue efforts are underway, but authorities are warning that the death toll could, in fact, continue to rise. Meanwhile, with us on the broadcast is Mr. Surya Prakash Kapoor, who is a geothermal specialist. Thank you for taking out time speaking to us on NewsX World. Terrible, terrible tragedy has taken place in Afghanistan. We do know that this particular area where the earthquake has taken place, it is an earthquake-prone region in itself because the Indo-Eurasian plates meet. Co-join together. Could you explain to our viewers how exactly does this make this region prone to such earthquakes? We've seen these occur in the past as well. Quite recently, we've seen seismic activity, in fact, occur quite often. Does this mean threats for other regions as well?
Earth planet, it is filled with magma. It is a geothermal energy dominated planet. You know, there are 150 hot water springs in the Himalayan geothermal bed, which starts from the K2 peak Karakoram, and it goes through the Nepal and this northeast, and it ends in the Indonesia. And there are 150 hot water springs. The nearest hot water spring to this epicenter of the earthquake needs to be there should be installed one geothermal power plant on the hot water spring which is nearest to the epicenter. By extracting geothermal energy in the form of electricity, the subsurface steam temperature and pressure of the hot water reservoir will be reduced, and there will not be any blast. When the blast will stop, the earthquake will also stop. What happens? There, in every hot water spring, there is a hot water reservoir 2 or 3 kilometers downward, and in that hot water reservoir, the magma keeps on adding heat, and the subsurface steam temperature and pressure of the hot water reservoir, when it crosses the threshold value, there is a blast like a pressure cooker. So we have to keep check on the subsurface steam temperature, subsurface temperature of the steam and pressure of the steam. In order to do that, we have to extract geothermal energy by installing geothermal power plant on the hot water spring. So nearest hot water spring to the epicenter of the earthquake requires installation of one geothermal power plant, and that geothermal energy will be used for developmental purposes in the form of commercial electricity. At present, this is being misused in the form of disaster. So in order to switch over from the disaster to the development, we have to immediately install geothermal power plant on the hot water spring, which is nearest to the epicenter of the earthquake. And higher is the temperature of the hot water spring, the more useful it will be. Thank you very much.
Indeed, sir. I request you to stay on with us. Let's in fact take a look at the moment the earthquake hit the region near Jalalabad and the devastation, the sheer amount of fear that it caused in the people there. All right, you can see in these visuals very, very clearly the amount of fear, devastation that this quake has caused. You can see the moment some of the buildings collapsed as well, people shrieking, screaming for their lives, crying as well as they're pulling out dead bodies from the rubble. In fact, some breaking news coming in. We're now learning that buildings shook for several seconds in Jalalabad and other towns as well. Tremors were felt in districts like Noorgul, Soki, Watpur, Manogi and Chapader. Hundreds of homes were in fact damaged or destroyed. And we learned that the midnight quake in fact struck at a very shallow depth of around 8 to 10 kilometers, toppling mud and stone homes as well along the mountainous border with Pakistan's Khyber Pakhtunkhwa region. That's not all. Tremors were also felt as far as Islamabad, which is 370 kilometers away. I'd like to go back across to Mr. Surya Prakash Kapoor. We can clearly see the extent of devastation that has been caused. It's not just in Afghanistan, it was along the border, but tremors were felt as far as Islamabad, Pakistan's capital as well. We've seen entire buildings collapse. The people are still trying to find bodies in the rubble. But is this like a wake-up call now for Afghanistan, which is already an earthquake-prone region, to create earthquake-resistant infrastructure?
Yes, I have told you that this is the collision zone, and there are hot water springs near this Jalalabad, and in one hot water spring, which is spewing out hottest water, the highest, the most warm water, we need to install one geothermal power plant. That geothermal power plant will extract heat in the form of commercial electricity, and by extracting heat, the subsurface steam temperature and pressure in the hot water reservoir, which is 2 or 3 kilometers below the hot water spring surface, the heat will be reduced, the subsurface steam temperature and pressure will be reduced, and there won't be any blast. And the moment the blast stops, the happening of earthquake will not be repeated. So it's the question of managing proper management of geothermal energy. Since we are not doing proper management of geothermal energy, we are not extracting it out. So it is coming in the form of earthquakes. So it is our duty to extract this geothermal energy, and we can switch over from the disaster to the development. We can produce commercial electricity, and we can stop the occurrences of earthquakes which are occurring due to this accumulation of unnecessary geothermal energy in the hot water reservoir, which is beneath the hot water spring. And there are so many hot water springs in this Afghanistan. And you can take the closest hot water spring, which is nearest hot water spring, and it is having the highest, it is the spring highest, most warm, this hot water. We can select that hot water spring for installation of geothermal power plant. This is the only remedy, and this is a foolproof remedy, and this is applicable for India also, for Pakistan also, for Nepal also, for Northeast also, for Afghanistan also. Thank you very much.
Indeed, I request you to stay on with us. We're tracking more updates. We're now, in fact, learning that Sadiqullah Qureshi Badloon, a communications official for Nangarhar province has stated that most of the casualties were reported in Kunar, while 9 deaths occurred in Nangarhar. This is the latest information coming in. That's not all. The Health Minister, Sharafat Zaman, has also stated that the number of casualties and injuries is high, but since the area is difficult to access, the teams are still on site. We do know 622 people till now have been reported dead. Kunar's provincial information head Najibullah Hanif has added that hundreds of injured have been taken to hospitals, with the toll now expected to rise as reports come in from remote districts in particular. Also joining us on the broadcast is Naresh Wadia, seismologist from New Delhi. Thank you so much for taking our time. We've heard the other panelist, Mr. Kapoor, pointing towards the fact that it is important for Afghanistan to harness geothermal energy, create electricity plants, but earthquakes as such at large, they cannot be predicted. We do know that this particular region lies between the Indo-Eurasian plate and there's a lot of tectonic activity over there, but earthquakes as a phenomenon, they occur out of the blue. They cannot be predicted. So how can the impact of such earthquakes be mitigated?
Yes, I'm Dr. Naresh Kumar. Yeah, it is unfortunate that midnight this strong 6 magnitude earthquake occurred. So till now it is not possible to predict the earthquake. However, it is possible to reduce the casualties, destruction, extra, and in that case we have to take care about the construction, buildings, and others in that region. Means that is the more important point which we can do to reduce the casualty, to reduce the destruction and other things. So this is a shallow focused earthquake occurred nearly 8 to 10 kilometer below the surface, and 6 magnitude is a strong magnitude earthquake occurred in this region, devastating earthquake, and it just as caused huge destruction and casualties are there. And as it occurred in the midnight, so people were in the houses, within houses, and that is the reason I think there are more casualties are there.
Indeed, we're now also getting more tragic news. We're learning that there are more than 800 people who've lost their lives. Yes, the death toll has risen. Earlier, reports had come in from the Afghan Interior Ministry that the death toll was 622. But it seems that the loss of lives, the statistics continues to mount. More than 800 people are now reported dead, and about 2,800 people are reported injured. This is a fresh statement from the spokesperson of the Afghan government. We're also learning that the main quake was followed by at least 3 aftershocks. Rescuers were operating across multiple districts searching for survivors amongst the rubble, and authorities have confirmed that several children have also died, especially when the roofs of their houses have collapsed. Helicopters are now airlifting the injured as emergency teams are rushing to assess the damage, deliver vital supplies, and safeguard thousands of people who have been displaced. I'd like to come back to Mr. Naresh Wadia once again. How serious are aftershocks? We do know that they've taken place in the past as well. We've seen in recent earthquakes, whether in Thailand, that had taken place. Several aftershocks, quite severe in magnitude, had rocked the areas. It seems that 3 aftershocks have taken place in this case as well. How can people really be prepared once the main tremor occurs to tackle these aftershocks?
Yeah, now it is important. The aftershocks will be there. A 6 magnitude earthquake is there, so maybe 2-3 days we can expect, or maybe up to 1 week we can expect the aftershock. And already there is so many destructions are there. Now the buildings, those are damaged, and there is a possibility of aftershock. Then there will be more destruction as the buildings has been shattered due to this strong earthquake. So proper care should be taken now so that there should not be more casualties there. In the area where there are so many distractions, I think it should be avoided to be there, and people should be shifted to some safe places so that casualties cannot be more. Because in that case, aftershocks are expected everywhere. It is there. It is a natural phenomena. After a strong earthquake, aftershocks occurred, and already I think 6 or 8 aftershock has been recorded there in that region. And as these are the shallow forks earthquakes, aftershocks are also shallow forks earthquakes, and these will cause some destruction there.
Indeed, I request our guests to stay on with us. We have several reactions coming in from across the world. I'll go through these all together. First up from China. China is monitoring the earthquake in Kunar province. Guo Jiakyun, spokesperson of the Chinese Foreign Ministry, has expressed deep condolences to the victims and sympathy to the families of the injured and the deceased. He has in fact stressed that under the leadership of the Afghan government, the people of Afghanistan will overcome the disaster and rebuild their homes. China has offered disaster relief assistance to Afghanistan, with support provided according to the country's needs and China's capacity to help. Next up, we're now learning that Afghanistan has declined Pakistan's offer of rescue and relief assistance following the devastating earthquake as well. Reportedly, according to a Taliban source, Pakistan could use these rescue operations to gather more intelligence on the Tehrik-e-Taliban terror group's hideouts to conduct more airstrikes. This is the fear that the Taliban government has right now as far as Pakistan's offer is considered. Meanwhile, Iran has offered to cooperate with the Afghan government to provide aid and rescue assistance to those affected by last night's earthquake in eastern Afghanistan. Their spokesperson Ismail Baqi has announced and he's expressed his deepest condolences to the families of the victims and wished a speedy recovery to the injured. Iran has stressed solidarity with Afghanistan during this humanitarian crisis and has confirmed its willingness to support rescue and relief efforts. Still with us on the broadcast is Mr. Surya Prakash Kapoor. So how important is it now for the international community to come together to extend a helping hand to Afghanistan, because there is a time period, a very small window, a 72-hour window till when the rescue and relief operations are effective. It's this point of time till which most of the survivors are found buried under the rubble. All right, there seems to be a connectivity issue where Mr. Kapoor's connection is concerned. I'd like to pose this question to Mr. Wadia. Of course, rescue and relief is the first priority, but there is a very crucial 72-hour window. Yes, sir, please go ahead.
Unmute. Yes, so the priority should be the rescue for the injured there and to take to the hospitals and others there. But there should be a precautions and care should be taken mainly for the main affected region, which is close to the epicenter of the earthquake there. So more casualties or more destruction will be in the area around the epicenter. As this earthquake occurred on the border of the, I think, Pakistan and Afghanistan, within the Afghanistan. So these are there, and I think the buildings and those are not so stable to sustain the this vibration due to these earthquakes and due to the aftershock of these earthquakes. So I think more care should be taken in those areas, and because although the prediction of earthquake is not possible, but the aftershock can be seen, as we can see in the past also. The aftershocks are mainly occurring in the area around the epicenter, so close to the epicenter, and the possibility will be there that aftershock will be close to the epicenter. How big will be the aftershock? It can go up to 5.5 magnitude bigger earthquake. Maybe there will be more less magnitude earthquake, but if it is 5 and more than 5.5 magnitude aftershock, then it will cause some more destruction because the buildings are already shattered and already are in the uh, processor, so that it can't sustain the aftershocks are there.
Absolutely. We are getting fresh news now coming in. There's now a reaction from India as well. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has just put out a tweet. He has stated that the devastating earthquake in Kunar province of Afghanistan is a matter of deep concern, and that India expresses its support and solidarity to the Afghan people as they respond to it, and that India will extend assistance in this hour of need. And he's also expressed condolences to the families of the victims, and that India's prayers for early recovery of the injured are with the Afghan people at this point. I hope Mr. Kapoor is back with us on the broadcast. I'd like to take this question with you. Even when the devastating quake had taken place in Myanmar, India had extended its assistance at that critical time of need. Our people were on the ground. When the devastating quake occurred in 2023 in Turkey, India had conducted Operation Dost, sending the NDRF personnel over there to make sure that people are pulled out of the rubble. Now, a helping hand has once again been extended by India towards Afghanistan. What do you make of this?
At the most, people can take precaution that they should stay out of the building. They should stay in the open fields, because the dilapidated buildings can collapse anytime. So, as a matter of precaution, for 1 or 2 days, they should stay in the open grounds. They should not go back to their homes, because due to certain aftershocks, the buildings which have not collapsed so far, they can also collapse. So they should avoid going back to their homes. They should stay for 1 or 2 days. Like, there are camps. The tents should be arranged in the open, and the public should stay in the tents instead of going back to the constructed building. The constructed building should be avoided. They should stay in the open for coming 1 week at least. Thank you very much.
All right, with that, I would like to thank Mr. Kapoor as well as Mr. Wadia for taking out time speaking to us on NewsX World as we continue to track these tragic developments from Afghanistan. Of course, thoughts and prayers with the people of Afghanistan who are suffering. Remember, the death toll has crossed 800. There are 2,800 people who are currently reported injured. That's all for now. We will continue to track more news and updates on the other side. Stay tuned on NewsX World.